in Western countries, marriage is an L for men.
True.
I don't.
No.
Chase.
No.
Hear me out.
Divorce is an L for men.
Okay,
Which is impending for the most part.
Which is what? Impending.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you marry the wrong woman.
Okay.
Yeah, or the wrong man. Usually the wrong woman, though. But there's such a financial gain for women to divorce from men. It is so common.
You're right. Which is why you got to pick the right woman, right?
But Chase, here's the thing. You say, well, you have to pick the right woman. You have to, and perhaps for those who are religious, you have to pick a godly woman who's the right woman. How many godly women initiate divorces? Even
I don't know. You tell me.
It's a lot. Even within the Catholic Church, where
how much is a lot?
We would have to. I don't have the.
What's the percentage?
I don't have the specific statistics on hand.
Isn't it 50% of marriages end in divorce in the United States?
Yes, 50% of marriages.
Yeah,
end in divorce.
I'd like to see what the statistics are in the context of what he's saying. The statistics in specifically the Christian community.
Right.
Because I think it's approaching the average. It might be a little lower than the average, but even godly women. Hypergamy doesn't care about your religion.
Yeah, but here's the thing, man, is like if you're a Christian and you're actually serious about your faith, you know that when you say I do, you are making a promise before God, and that is a promise that you will be held accountable to. And it is not one that you can back out of. And on top of that too, it says in the scriptures that if you marry someone and you're like, oh man, like I just don't really like this person that much anymore, like we're gonna, let's just end it. Let's get divorced. In God's eyes, if you divorce that person and you marry somebody else, that second person that you marry, you are committing adultery with them before God.
That's what it says. Yeah.
Okay? You see what I'm saying? So you're cheating on the person that you actually made your vows to before God if you divorce and get remarried. Now, if you...
Wait, isn't divorce recognized by the church?
The Bible
certain cases
says that you can leave, though, under certain circumstances.
Yeah,
you can leave a marriage.
Specifically, if your partner cheats on you, you are then permitted to divorce them.
If they cheat on you and he doesn't want to be with you, then you can leave. That's literally what the word says.
But if
that's
he
what it says.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
So
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
I Googled a statistic here. I Googled divorce rates in Christendom? I don't know.
Recent surveys and studies suggest that approximately 20 to 25% of Christian marriages end in divorce, with higher percentages reported among millennials and younger generations of believers. I mean, that's the thing, though.
I'm looking
man.
at Catholics.
I mean, like, bro, like.
Among Catholics who have been married, roughly 1/3 have experienced a divorce.
Yeah, but like also at the same time, like you have to ask yourself, how many of these Catholics and how many of these Christians are like affirming, like how many of them are actually serious about their faith?
Their faith.
How many? Hold on.
Some people lose their faith, Chase.
How many of these Christians or Catholics are doing OnlyFans or affirming LGBTQ stuff, or they don't actually believe in what the word says, right? I would assume that demographic of people in the church that are actually getting divorced probably don't really have strong conviction in their faith, right?
Sure.
As opposed to I talked to women about this, and like some of them, like you just know that they actually take marriage seriously, and like they are like, yes, if we're getting married, that's it. You are not getting rid of me for life. Doesn't matter if you end up in a freaking wheelchair or whatever. Like there are people with those convictions, and I think if you're somebody looking for marriage, you want to find somebody who actually has those convictions. And most people don't. Most people are like, they're like, yeah, we'll get married like as long as it's fun, and we still like each other.
No one has the hard conversations, those conversations. What the long-term conversations, it's like, oh, I'm interested in you, and yeah, we have maybe this in common, but what happens when things get tough? What happens when things go south? Like, how are you going to communicate to me, and how are we going to fix it? What are our options? And mostly the communication portion of it, because people just say, this is hard, I'm done.
Yeah, nobody wants to do the work.
Hands up. They don't want to do the work to keep it.
So.
I mean, even pious religious people stray from their faith. I mean, and we have it here that says that, we got different numbers for the Christian versus Catholic. It does seem to be the case that those who are religious, the divorce rate amongst the religious is lower than the general population. However, these are not good numbers. And so for most men,
they're
marriage,
not.
And here's the thing.
We live in the most subverted time in history. Morality is at an all-time low. They're bad numbers.
No, it's bad. But as a guy, you see if the divorce rate is 50%, and you say, well, you have to find a really good woman. I mean, these men who are getting married aren't like, probably, do you think going in when they're getting married to these women, maybe I'm underestimating the stupidity of people getting married, but do you think that they're actually thinking, I'm probably going to get divorced from this person?
No.
They're probably going in.
I don't think anybody who gets
Marriage.
divorced went into it thinking, yeah, I'm probably going to get divorced from this person. But I think a lot of people, this is the thing, man. This is why I talk so often about not having sex before marriage, bro. Like if you can freaking date somebody for like a year or 2 years and you guys still like each other to the point where you want to get married without having sex after several years, bro, like you know that there's a really good chance that relationship is going to be successful.
I literally tell my little sister that. Like, I was trying to tell her, like, just wait, like, 'cause they're younger. So I'm like, you will, if someone wants to marry you just off of your personality, like never touching your body before, that person really loves you. Like,
yes. And if it's over the span of like a year or 2 years and both of you guys go through ups and downs and like hard stuff, and you still love one another without having that physical bond.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
Like,
unbreakable.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, bro, then once you add the physical bond to that equation after marriage, that is truly unbreakable.
Yeah.
When
And
you
if-
get to know each other, I mean, that's what people don't do anymore. They don't spend time to get to know each other. They
lot
just
of-
go right into.
a lot of people, they rush right into sex, and then they've got
And
like
there's nothing else.
those super intense hormones that are flowing that make you fall in love with the other person, and that's what the love is based off. But like I tell my friends, like, I've met like 5 dudes at my gym here who are all divorced, and I ask them about their marriages, and they're like, I'm like, you know, they tell me they're divorced. They tell me they got into their 40s and they realize, like, yeah, you know, the physical attraction, it just kind of went away. And I say, were you guys having premarital sex beforehand? And they were like, yeah. And it's like they fell in love with these chicks because they were having sex with them. And then once the physical attraction wore off, they realized that there wasn't much there anymore. And I think that's the mistake that a lot of people make, which is why it's part of the reason why divorce
no
stats are so
foundation.
high.
Okay, so you're right that the more premarital sexual partners you've had, there's a whole slew of potential issues that arise
Not
from
just
that.
premarital sexual partners, but just premarital sex in general is going to increase the chance that somebody gets
Well,
divorced.
I'm sort of putting
With that
both
person.
together, but
Okay.
so, and they've done studies on this, so I don't disagree with you there that if you have sex before marriage or have premarital sexual partners, the more premarital sexual partners you've had, the greater likelihood of reporting relationship and then marriage dissatisfaction, greater likelihood of divorce, greater likelihood of infidelity, so harder time pair bonding. All this stuff makes sense. But to kind of bring it back to my whole thing with marriage, you have to, also, I don't have an issue with marriage from a religious point of view. Like, that's fine. However, when you have the United States government involved and you
That's where it
have
starts to get weird.
you have the court biases
No fault
against,
divorces, like she was saying.
Yeah, it's just
Women
like,
can just women can just wake up one day and decide, you know what, I don't want to be married to this guy
And take
anymore.
half of
I'm going to
everything.
take like 50 to 70% of everything
And the
he's worth
kids.
and just leave.
Yeah.
Yep. And divorce courts on top of that are stacked super heavily in favor of women in terms
there's
of what
major
In
bias.
everything.
Yeah.
There's major bias in the
Huge
court system
bias.
against
Yep.
men.
Yep.
So, and most negative outcomes from divorce impact men.
Yep.
So as a man, I have to look at that and be like, I'm looking at the calculus and it's just, I'm doing the,
I mean, if you don't want to have kids,
I'm doing the calculus.
if you don't want to have kids and like you don't want
I did Eric.
like, do you want to have kids?
I'm on the fence a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence.
Yeah. So like
I
if
can have kids without being married though.
Yeah.
you could.
You could save that money, that extra money that you saved.
You're talking about
The baby,
the
like
ceremony?
that too.
We're going to Vegas, baby. I don't know what.
Or
Elvis is gonna-
Bali, Indonesia. That's really cheap. over
Elvis
there.
is gonna marry us. Okay.
So like you could save that money that you saved, and usually people would have that money to go towards a baby, but
Yeah.
you could still be married, but not have kids. But you can use that money to travel with your significant other.
I'm
that
with
way
you.
It could still be
I'm
like
with you.
a date.
Keep talking.
It could still
What
be
you
like
got?
It could still be a date, and it's still
Oh my God.
spontaneous.
Alvinson donated $200. Chase, from Pew Research, Christians hold a 70% divorce rate over non-Christians. From the Institute for Family Studies, premarital intercourse reduces marital quality for just women.
Can we pull that up, Jamie?
Reduces marital quality for
Eric,
just
can you take it?
women.
Try to find
The Pew Research 70% divorce rate for wait.
Never just something.
So he's saying Christians have a
So-
70% divorce rate. I'm calling cap on that, bro.
Yeah.
We
I
just pulled
don't.
up statistics a second ago that said that it's a 20 to 25% divorce
Yeah.
rate.
Well, that
for
was just
And
a
nothing is
Google one.
just
Wait,
that.
oh, Pew Research. Hold on. I think I might have it here, but Eric, go ahead and pull it up.
Well, Chase is also talking about real Christians in good marriages, not just like nominally Christian people who are marrying the wrong person.
Truly,
Yeah.
like somebody that believes in
Yeah.
God, and when they took their vows, I mean, they owned. I mean, they're loyal to their vows, so
Yes.
they're not gonna walk away.
Yes.
They're gonna try
Word.
everything.
Yeah, I would just say, Brian, for somebody in your situation, I mean, it's like I could understand why you look at it and you're like, what's the point? Like, you don't really want kids that bad. You don't really care about like.
But where does kids enter into the marriage? Like, what is the benefit of getting married
Well, do
in
you
the
see-
context of having
Family.
kids?
do you see the
Kids
benefit?
thrive in a two-parent
Yeah.
household.
Yeah. Do you see the
Well,
benefit of a two-parent
no, but-
household?
That's different though. You can
Be a
be
two-parent household
partnered
without
with
being
somebody and not be married.
I think there's more of a commitment and there's more on the line when
What
you
if
are
I'm
married.
just as fully committed to
Well, then
this
Then why
person?
not get married?
that's great. Well, because some people are you religious?
Well, you know, I have a private relationship.
He is a man of God.
I'm a man of God.
Because
I'm a
like
man
for,
of God.
for me, I'm not super religious, so for me, marriage, like obviously, marriage means something completely different to people that believe in God because it's a professing your love in front.
Oh, it's even worse to get married if you're not religious.
yeah.
What's
If
the
you're
point?
not religious, there's no point.
then
really,
it's
'cause you're-
entirely
yeah.
the state controlling. Like,
Yeah.
Statistically, though, married men live longer than single men.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
statistically,
Yes.
women live
Interesting.
longer
They're
than
not
men.
lonely,
Let's talk
and they
about
have
that.
so many
But
people.
And that's why
Okay.
married women or married men live longer because they have a woman to
That's a
nurture
good
them.
point.
Yeah,
That's a
they
good
do,
point.
and
Taking
that's
care.
wait,
true.
married men live longer?
yes,
Yes.
than single men. Yes.
I've heard.
What about married men who are
opposite.
married to just the most annoying, rebellious
They
wives?
die very.
Well, I don't
quickly.
know
Oh, yeah,
about
what's-
that.
How early do
But
they die?
they
a
end up-
bad,
No idea.
a bad wife. There's what's that Bible verse we've talked about before? It's
It's better to live on the corner of a roof than with a quarrelsome wife, or
Oh,
it's,
yes.
or it's better
There's like
to
a
live in a
desert?
desert
Yeah.
than with a quarrelsome wife, which is facts.
Can anyone get us the what's it called
The verse?
the verses for that?
Somebody in
Anybody?
the audience probably
Chat, can you guys find us the verses for that one? But yeah, quarrelsome woman. That'll take some years off of your life expectancy.
Yeah,
can.
yeah,
For
yeah.
damn sure.
Listen, Chase, I'm a businessman. You know I'm a businessman because you find me at my places of business. I don't sign contracts that don't benefit me. And it happens to be the case that marriage is a contract that kind of sucks dick. I'm going to say it. It sucks dick. It's not good. It's not a good one.
So then what if if you're looking at it in terms of a business standpoint, you can get married, sign a contract, and then sign a prenup so that there's no way that she can come after your money or she can do anything in terms of like financial, but you're still giving that commitment if you're looking at it in terms of business.
Prenups can be disputed, then the lawyers get involved, then the court case proceeds, then the lawyers are billing you $300 an hour, and that's 5 figures a month, and then
But if you're
and then there's the court fees, and then
I think you're thinking,
and then you have to pay for if she's not making money, you have to pay for her lawyer too. Oops.
So Alvin Sam said Pew Research, divorced or separated adults, 74% divorce rate for Christians. Thanks, Rolo Tomas. Yo, Alvin, you could be right. And I'm not disputing that Pew Research published that, but like
Eric, scroll down.
I would like to know why there's a disparity between that
up,
research
up.
and
Back
other
up.
research.
This is
Right.
non-Christian.
Scroll
faiths.
down.
5%.
No,
A little
the
bit.
Oh,
Right there.
Oh, shit.
Uh,
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like I'd like to know why there's a difference between that research and the other research that we pulled up a minute ago.
74% Catholic.
wait.
And dude,
Religious
it just,
composition.
The idea, bro, that Christians are getting divorced at a higher rate than like people who aren't even
Wait,
religious, that
what's
just
the,
doesn't make
Those
sense.
stats, though, hold on, pull it back up because I think those stats are a little misleading, and I viewed this. Religious composition of divorced or separated adults. What is the percentage of people who are Christian in this country? Because it's not looking at.
Exactly.
I don't think it's looking at.
Like it's like
the rate.
60% or something like that.
This is basically saying. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, so they're not.
I'm trying to parse
They're not
this.
controlling, is what you're saying. Like they're not looking at
controlled.
what you're saying they might be doing, which might be true, is they might be looking at the total amount of adults
Yeah, yeah.
divorced in
Yeah, what's the
America,
end?
and this is the
Exactly.
percentage of it. But the reality is that the majority of people in America are Christians. So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to have
So
a
it's not-
statistical
It's not
overrepresentation.
74% of Christians are getting divorced. It's of the people who have been divorced, 74% of them are Christians. But that doesn't mean that
they're the ones
so-
that are-
This isn't even proving the point that they were trying to make. You just debunked.
But then
Sorry,
also back
fake
to what
news.
you're saying, are they just saying like I can say that my religion is Christian, but I don't practice often. You know what I mean? So would I'm not getting divorced. That's not an option. But would I fall under that category or would I fall under not? So you have to think like,
I mean, if
how,
you just say you're Christian, yeah.
And a lot of people just do that.
that's what I'm saying.
anyways.
Like
They're
how many
we're
people are
Christian,
actually practicing?
and then they don't really follow.
Just for the sake of time, we do have to move on here. We're gonna get we gotta get through a few more super chats. Eric, pull up the Twitch really quick.